Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Residents of Evil podcast with the ROE Team. Today we are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of being on YouTube. So today we are joined by AJ.
Yo.
We are joined by Tony.
Hey, everyone.
And Ali.
What's up, guys?
And myself, JJ. So thank you everybody for stopping in. Really appreciate that. For our 1-year anniversary special, we are going to be doing, well, actually, we just announced today, we opened up our Discord to the public. So if you guys are a fan of Resident Evil or just survival horror, you want to meet a bunch of other really cool like-minded people, head over to our Discord. There's a link below. We have a bunch of different rooms available. So we got art galleries, collection galleries. We have the bathroom for shitposts and memes. We have the main hall for general discussion. Lots of cool stuff for everybody to check out. So if you have not checked out our Discord, definitely stop in, say hi. It's going over really well. What do you guys think about that today, announcing the Discord?
It's actually blown the hell up. I'm actually surprised we have so many Resident Evil fans in here. The fan work's been popping up. It's so awesome to see the talent within the community.
It is incredible. All right, so that was really cool. Another thing I want to mention here, so there's the Discord. We did just get a new print done by FearEffectInferno. I got a link to his page down in the chat. But he just did the ROEvengers, so that came up. We were playing Outbreak, and somebody said we were the ROEvengers. It kind of stuck, so we got the print done, and we are going to be giving that away today. So at the end of the podcast, we'll be asking a question, and the first person to get it right will win a print of the ROEvengers. So that's cool, and let's see.
Next that thing came out awesome. It looks freaking just badass.
Yeah, I was blown away. Like, I knew he'd do a good job, but I was definitely impressed. Better than I expected. It was incredible.
AJ Smash.
AJ Smash, yeah. AJ seems to be, he likes to rage sometimes. So, we just got a super chat from Grim King. Thank you so much. $10 super chat.
Thank you, Grim King.
Okay, so let's go on. We're going to start with the Resident Evil news. And then after that, we're going to work into our main topic, and then we will get into viewer questions. So if you guys have any questions for us, we'll get to those after. But we'll start with the news. So it's finally out, the entire complete edition of Resident Evil 7. Not a Hero was just came out, and that was supposed to come out early on this year, but it was pushed back, and now we finally got it. So I guess we can go around and kind of give our thoughts, sort of a review on what you guys thought of Resident Evil 7's Not a Hero with the new Chris Redfield, and sort of getting to see what he was up to after the events of Resident Evil 7. So we'll start with you, AJ. What did you think of Not a Hero?
Well, I thought David did a really good job voicing him. I still don't get the hate between, the face and everything, but it's kind of like I said from the beginning. I didn't think they were going to go too much into detail about Chris, and I was right about that. It didn't really add anything to the overall main game. It was almost like a mercenaries mode in a way.
Yeah.
But do I love it? I'm like on the fence with it. I didn't really think it added anything to the game itself. What about you guys?
Tony, what'd you think?
Well, much like AJ said, I really think that David did a really good job, because as watching the character of Chris age as he has from all the different games over the years and everything like that, I think that he took the character in a direction of level-headedness, or when he got angry, because we've seen Chris get angry before in other games and stuff. I think he did a truly good job for the small time he got to play the character in this game. I think he was done really good. As far as everything else, it was interesting. Like some parts, like how Lucas set up the mines with all the different traps and everything, and the poisonous gas and everything that you came across. It was kind of easy. I mean, I played it live. I know that a few of our followers were watching that day and everything. I think AJ was too. Overall, the experience, I don't really think it added that much, because nothing was really explained. We get like a name drop of like a company that's out there now, and it's just, that's about it. So it didn't really add too much. David Vaughn's work, as well as the guy who voiced Lucas as well, he had done a very good job as well. So I think for the most part, it was I mean, it's free, so I can't really complain that much about it.
That's true.
So,
Hey, Santiago just dropped $100 on us. Holy shit!
Jesus Christ! I was waiting to say that.
Thank you so much, man. That's amazing.
Santiago Alcantara with a $100 super chat. Let's see a bunch of dudes shit their pants. Well, consider my pants shit. Now I got to sit through this podcast. Thank you so much, man.
I'm getting naked right here since there's no camera. Let me change here.
And to everybody else that's stopping in all the super chats, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We appreciate that. To wrap that up, though, it was free. I really can't say it was a major disappointment because I wasn't expecting too much from it. For what it is, I think it does all right.
Yeah, that's a good way to pretty much wrap it up. What did you think, Ali, about Resident Evil 7's Not a Hero?
It was pretty good. I liked it. Like we said, David did a really good job as Chris with not knowing much about what was going on. And to the studio with the direction he got, everything came out pretty well. I liked the performance. As far as the play itself, being that it was free, you can't complain too much. But I will say that the molded are just too old and played out at that point. I got kind of tired of fighting molded again. Yeah. But I did like the fact that you were more of a badass this time around. You weren't Ethan, basically. And the level design was pretty interesting. The mines got really old too. It was so just brown. It just it wasn't really appealing to look at. It wasn't any variation. It was cool how you had to progress to the level and get the upgrades in order to go to another area. And I liked searching for items, and the backtracking felt like some old school Resident Evil. Jesse was awesome as Lucas again. Just it's good that we got some closure to that, and Jesse killed the part again. So props to the whole cast for their acting. Even the accessory soldiers, were great in their parts as well. So I say acting all around was great. Gameplay was somewhat interesting, and it was just nice to see something additional that wasn't horrible, that was free.
Yeah, that's true. I guess, I kind of agree with you guys, pretty much with everything you guys said. That was the DLC. Actually, I was more excited for End of Zoe because it was something completely new. We kind of knew what we were getting with Not a Hero. We knew it was going to be more of the action approach. I'm not a big fan of action in Resident Evil, but I knew what I was getting myself into, so it wasn't going to bother me. I set my expectations actually really low for it because of they changed it, and I kind of thought maybe it was so boring that maybe they changed it to make it a little more fun, but don't get your hopes up too much because it might still be a pretty generic experience. I really did enjoy the level design, how you had like sort of a main hub and then all your different little branches everywhere you'd go, so you'd always come back to the same place. There was backtracking, kind of felt closer to the original Resident Evils, but as far as level design, but as far as gameplay, it was kind of, it was completely different. It was basically a first-person shooter. Sure, there was other elements like the puzzles and stuff, which were interesting. I don't think it was like amazing or game-changing, and it didn't even really add to the lore much. It just kind of was your basic, like, how do I say it? They played it safe with it. It was fun. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, but it wasn't game-changing to the series. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't really further expand the lore, like, hey, Resident Evil 8 is going to be this because of, Not a Hero. It was kind of like they could go in a new direction and kind of forget this whole thing happened. I don't know. Or they might, take elements from Not a Hero and actually implement it into Resident Evil 8. I'm not sure. But I think for being free and, if you already had Resident Evil 7, you liked it, you like the story, and you want to see it continue, then you'll enjoy it. But you won't leave thinking, wow, that was amazing, I think the Resident Evil 7 as a game was still a better experience than the Not a Hero, but obviously it was a smaller experience. But
one thing that I am disappointed in is they didn't really give any explanation as to why, other than him saying, BSAA told him to do it. There's no reason why he was really working with Umbrella. They didn't explain much of what Umbrella was doing now, except that they were doing basically, I guess, event control and trying to fix issues that were breaking out. So it's disappointing in that part that they didn't really go into any explanation about any of that.
And that's kind of what we were all really looking forward to. Like, there's better be a really good explanation why he's working for Blue Umbrella, and there better be like something big, something big to the story. And it was, like I said, it just felt like they played it safe. They didn't really get too into it or really give the explanation that we were all hoping for, but they also didn't I don't know, do anything to really make fans mad. I still think that if the appearance was more towards the Chris we know, it might have enhanced it a little bit. I know a lot of people are just like, oh, move on, like it's a different Chris, whatever. I still think it should have looked like Chris, but it's not really a deal breaker. Anything else we can say on Not a Hero?
No, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah,
Same.
Yeah, there's really not much to add about it. That game was just too short, and it didn't really add anything.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it was good. But then that brings us into the other DLC, End of Zoe. This is the one I was most looking forward to. This features Joe Baker, which is the uncle, who finds Zoe kind of encapsulated and whatever, white molded. Then he has to find a serum to cure her. It's basically his tale, so it really you don't play as Zoe at all, so it really has nothing to do with her other than he's trying to save her. And this takes a much different style approach. Gone are weapons and feeling like you're overpowered, but then you have your fists, which are just as powerful, if not more powerful, than weapons. And it introduced a whole new sort of sneak element to the game, and sort of a first-person boxer. Because Joe was a boxer. So this is very different from what we are used to. So I guess, AJ, what did you think about End of Zoe?
Well, I didn't play it. I only got to watch what Engage were doing over the Toys for Tot stream.
Yeah.
I did like the hand-to-hand combat. That was kind of cool to see. His character, he kind of reminded me of Barry in a sense.
Yeah, a little bit.
He was kind of out there.
Yeah.
Just with Not a Hero, it didn't really add anything to the overall game. It didn't give us an idea of where they were going with it, like in the future.
Yeah.
Based on the rumors, apparently End of Zoe was originally supposed to be what they wanted to do with Resident Evil 8. I don't know if I believe that or not, but I don't know. It just ended really well, and I thought it could have been a lot better.
Yeah, kind of like they had much more potential there, and they kind of dropped the ball when it came down to it.
Worth what they're asking people to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll get into that last when we cover the Gold Edition. But Tony, what did you think of End of Zoe?
I finally got to punch motherfucking crocodiles.
Hell yes.
The whole time, we all were saying this in past chats and everything like that. It's we're literally down on the bayou. Where are all the gators? When can I start punching them and making them into leather shoes and a leather jacket and everything? And
yeah,
I think I think it was kind of weird that for the 3 years that he wasn't too far from the Baker's home. I don't think so. It was kind of weird. I think they had some kind of falling out or something like that. But either way, I think Gage's performance was really good as Joe. I think the gameplay was a lot of fun because, yeah, you're dealing with the molded again and stuff like that, but you're pretty much just going full Street Fighter on them and just because you do Street Fighter moves in this. As a avid Street Fighter fan, I noticed some of the things that Joe was doing to them and everything like that, and it's stuff out of Street Fighter, there's stuff out of Final Fight and everything, Hagar type stuff, suplexing and everything. So I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the fact that they brought Jack back again somehow. Whatever was left of him was that creature, which I was just oh shit, that's okay, I'll take that. And he was kind of it's just really fun. I had a lot of fun with the game when I played it. I do believe that maybe the price for it may not have been for what it was because it was kind of short, but the overall experience with it's fun. It is it's just really a fun first-person boxer game. It's pretty much what it is.
That is what it is.
That's the best way I can put it in words right there, is the fact that I really do enjoy this DLC. This one was worth the wait, and it kind of made buying it, like I said, the price, but I still had fun with it.
Okay, so you're very positive about it. I think the overall general consensus is people were a little disappointed, but that's good that you covered all the sort of positive things and you enjoyed it for what it was. I guess, Ali, What did you think of End of Zoe?
Well, the first time I played it, it was really freaking hard
Yes.
because I couldn't get the mechanics of the boxing down. But I liked that because the Baker family is a tragic but interesting story, and the DLC pretty much all built up around them, and especially Zoe. She had a full story arc from, the daughter's DLC to the actual game to her conclusion. It was not off-putting, but misleading. We thought it was going to be a Zoe campaign. We also thought that Joe was going to be a little bit more of a survivalist, like, we talked maybe in a Rambo sense of him taking down some umbrella guys and setting traps and stuff. In a way, we got that, but not really what we were expecting. Again, we got more molded. The crocodiles were a nice addition. Could have been used a little bit better at some points, but I do like that they had crocodiles, which was something we asked for. The mechanics of the fist fighting were really cool, but then it kind of shits on everything when you have Chris and Joe come through and they're just one-punching all these fucking molded.
Yeah, that's one of my points.
And you just played the whole RE7 game, and they were actually like a force to be reckoned with. You had to have the right ammo or have enough ammo or avoid or do whatever you could do, but Joe's just rolling through, just punching the hell out of everything, and it was cool. At the same time, it was kind of, like I said, crapping on Ethan, which is not a bad thing.
It just means Ethan's a little bitch. More of a little bitch than we thought.
Yeah, I mean, he did get his arm chopped off and put back on with staples. So, but I liked the story. I liked, there's a drive and a love there for Joe, for Zoe and his family. So that was nice. It was interesting to see what was going to happen with Zoe. Bringing Jack back was a huge surprise. I thought it was just a Swamp Thing monster, but when it turned out to be Jack, I was like, oh wow, that's actually cool. And then you saw the confliction of Joe going up against his brother at the same time, talking trash to his brother,
Yeah.
So I liked it, and the dialogue was really good. Gage did great voice acting it and doing the mocap. Some of the one-liners in there were just classics that will probably live on. So overall, it was pretty good. Like I said, the price could have been better, but it is what it is, and it was something. It did end with the fizzle, though. Unfortunately, I had to say the ending for it was a letdown. The dialogue between Joe and Zoe was fine, but when they went to the tent, the medical tent, and then Chris shows up and hands the phone, and it's Ethan. I'm like,
spoilers.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, you've either played it or watched us play it, or you'll play it eventually. But it's like, that's it, really. It's like, that's it. That's all of 7. That's everything you had to give us. So it's like, all right, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they didn't really leave us hanging. They did wrap it up, but it wasn't like, you didn't feel like after you got done with it, like, hey, this story is going to continue into a bigger thing. It was like, nope, that was it. It was, nicely wrapped up. Not very, not as exciting as we would have wanted, but it pretty much concluded Zoe's story. I guess I probably was, I liked it the least amount of you guys, out of you guys. I one of the biggest complaints I had with it was the fact that in Resident Evil 7 you had that feeling of these molded are like a force to be reckoned with, and you need to plan your shots, and you need to make sure you have ammo, and you don't go into the basement when it's infested because they're difficult to deal with, and that brought the tension, that brought the risk and the reward for when you finally did get through. And these, sure, End of Zoe was super difficult. It was tough, but the creatures didn't really feel like when you're going up and you're just comboing them and wrecking them, they didn't feel like the powerful, scary molded that they were in Resident Evil 7. And, that kind of, I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of that. I liked that tension and liked having them be kind of a powerful force. Also, just the molded, I'm sick of in general. You fight 5, 6, 7, and after that it just gets kind of repetitive when you don't really have anything else. So the Crocs were a good addition to it. I still can't buy that Joe, being so close to family, lived, not that far away and had no idea this was going on. Like, oh, where'd this wall come from? Like, you didn't see that? Okay. It's just, there's some plot holes to the story there. Also, the boxing.
On that note about the plot holes, there's this isn't a couple-day event. This has been going on for years.
3 years.
Being psychotic and murdering people. Like, okay, Joe, what's going on, bud? What are you doing out there?
You think you would have went to check in? You care about this family so much. 3 years, you're just kind of eating bugs and living on your own. Just forget about your family, and then just happen to be taking a stroll out in the woods and find Zoe. I don't buy it.
I'm just gonna blame the beer. He was in a drunken coma.
God.
I guess. Yeah, it could have been. No,
it's all that moonshine.
Yeah, it just could have been explained better. I think even just a little explanation, maybe like if it would have showed pre-story of them him and Jack getting into an argument or something, and them kind of parting ways would have made, tied that up a little bit better and made, the loose ends fit better in the story. But the whole fighting system, it worked well, but it did get kind of complicated because you have a limited view, and when you have stuff going on around you, it can get kind of complicated and messy in that with the first person fighting. Also, I don't know if you guys mentioned, I didn't hear you guys mention, but the power glove.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Was anybody a fan of the power glove? Because I was not.
Oh,
I don't know.
You
I
liked
kind
it?
of liked it.
You guys
I
liked
the
it?
soundtrack kicks in, he puts on the glove, and he just starts punching. He was already punching everything, but now it's like,
Yeah.
one punch.
But it just,
That thing was like something out of like what Captain Commando wears in the old Captain Commando game for the Super Nintendo. Like that thing was great.
yeah,
It
that's
was
why
funny.
I didn't
Yes,
like it.
Not necessary, but it
Yeah.
was kind of fun.
They explained it in the story that Umbrella's working on weapons now, so it made sense, but it just also feels so out of place. And it's like, you guys said that we want to go away from Resident Evil 6, and then we're bringing something that would be in Resident Evil 6 back into Resident Evil 7, when I felt like Resident Evil 7 was a step in the right direction. Now we got this, and it's just a power glove. Like, what next? In Resident Evil 8, we're going to get power suits, we're going to get, exoskeletons. What's going on?
Call of Duty confirmed.
Yeah.
It's kind of Capcom's typical shenanigans. They, look at their Dead Rising series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. That game itself, Dead Rising, is a combination of just all kinds of retarded goofiness.
But it worked in Dead Rising because that's what the game was. It was campy. It was fun. It took what it was.
Very
and
over the top.
Yeah, it fully accepted what it was, and that's why it worked. But in Resident Evil 7, like I said, I thought 7 was a step in the right direction. Then we got this, and we're punching the mold, and now they're not really a challenge. And now we got the power glove, supercharged Iron Man going through. I didn't like that, and the ending, yes, was a letdown to me as well. I would have liked to see more of Zoe, like, doing stuff. I mean, I liked her as a character, and I like Joe as a character. I guess instead of being negative, I should say what I did like. I did like Joe. I thought his lines were funny and interesting, and he did kind of remind me of Kendo. I don't know why. Maybe because he's like a I'm not sure why he reminded me of Kendo, but I just liked the character overall. I felt like what else is good about it? The sneak thing, that was cool. I did like that you had to sneak around enemies and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. I think overall it was okay. I think it was more of a letdown because I had kind of higher hopes for that one. But yeah, for the price, I would say it's a little high, but I guess that's my thoughts on it. It was okay. But I feel like 7 was a step in the right direction, and a Zoe and Not a Hero sort of in a sense were a step back, if that makes sense.
I guess, I guess I can understand where you're going from that. By the way, yeah, we got $5 super chat from Kendo and from $1 from Grim King.
And we got 5 from Grim King, Jake Boy, yeah, $2 from him, $10 from Kendo Gun Shop, and that $100 from Santiago. Thank you guys so much. The reason why we didn't announce right away when you guys did that is because we just don't want to cut in right during our discussion. But yeah, thank you guys so much for those super chats. It really means a lot to us and helps out a ton.
Well,
so thank you guys.
Before we go on to the next discussion, Kia Silverstar, did Gage voice both Jack and Joel? No, he did not.
Jack was done by a man named Jack Brand, who is awesome.
Oh,
gotcha. Remember, he gave us the if we make it through December for the Row Christmas special. He is a country musician / actor and performer. Also, make sure you go check out these guys. Both Gage Maverick and Jack Brand have their YouTube pages. If you guys want to go check them out and subscribe and give them some support, show them some love. Jack posts all of his music on there. It's good stuff if you're a country fan. If not, he's got some covers in a country form that are actually pretty good. I like his Stand By Me version. And Gage posts all kinds of stuff. He's constantly doing things.
Definitely. And also, Ali, you got to sit down and play End of Zoe with Gage, the voice of Joe Baker. Or not just the voice, but the performance capture. He was the character. So that was very interesting. So that's up on the channel after this. If you guys want to see Ollie and Gage Maverick play End of Zoe, check that out. But yeah, I guess that's our overall thoughts on Not a Hero and End of Zoe. Now we can talk about just the thing, the whole bundle, the Gold Edition, Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition. It's $50. You can pick it up for $49.99. It comes with the main game, all of the extra DLC, and the new End of Zoe and Meta Heroes. So what do you guys think of it as a whole now that it's completely out? It's only $50. Like, do you think it's a good deal? Do you think people will get their money's worth? Do you think it was a good step, a good direction for the Resident Evil series? Are you happy with it overall, or do you have some issues with it? I guess we could start off with AJ. What do you think of Gold Edition?
Well, I'm tired of people re-releasing their games every freaking year with the DLC.
Yeah, you mean just
everybody's doing it now. They're just compiling the DLC and re-releasing the game a year later at only $10 off the main price. It's kind of ridiculous.
AJ smash.
AJ rage.
AJ is raging. I'm sick of these companies re-releasing their products and milking it.
Yeah.
See, you have the bedroom DLC and the daughter DLC. They're not really worth what they were asking for originally with the season pass.
I agree with that.
So you figure if they were going to re-release this, they should have done $29.99. That's all the game was worth. For me, at least. For art, that's cool. I like the fact that they actually gave America and the UK the physical copy, unlike Resident Evil 1 originally.
Yeah.
Kind of on the fence. I would not technically support another re-release of it, so I did not. I have no plans on getting it. I don't really have interest in the extra DLC because you can just go to YouTube and you're basically good off right there. Like I said, it didn't really add anything to the game, so...
That's true. I can see where you're coming
really
from with that.
Anything.
Yeah, it wasn't like anything big to the story, so it's almost something you really don't have to play, but if you have it and... then sure, check it out. But other than that, you can pretty much get it from a video. I get that. But I guess if somebody hasn't played Resident Evil 7 and they're waiting, they want to play it, but they held off. Do you think now is the time to pick it up as gold, or do you think it's just not worth it?
I would still wait until the price comes down. Like I said, I
Really?
personally don't believe it's worth any more than $29.99 because the main campaign, once you beat that, more surprises, there's no more shock. The game loses its
replayability.
There is no replayability.
Well, it's probably because it was more set up for
appeal.
it was set up for a VR experience, like a one-time experience. You play with your friends, you kind of get together, and then you got these choreographed cutscenes that happen a lot, like getting your hand chopped off, stuff you can't change. Would that have something to contribute to the not replayability? Script events?
Well, I think kind of fucked themselves with the first-person view because, in the old games, we had costumes we can unlock. There was extra guns we can unlock. There was extra modes we can unlock. Now everything's behind a paywall.
No,
True.
7 has that stuff. You can unlock certain things if you speedrun
It does. But
but
can you
it's not
do, like costumes and stuff like that? We can't do that anymore.
Yeah, you can't do costumes. But as far as replayability, I played it twice. I played it once. I did a speed run. I unlocked some things, but I had no desire to go back into it after that because it was fun. It was good. I liked it for what it was, but I just it's not like how many times have I played 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica? All these games I played repetitively, just over and over and over because I enjoyed the story and the atmosphere so much. 7 didn't have much of a story behind it. The villains were cool with the Baker family. The mechanics and the environments were nice, but the story just didn't really have much that was captivating.
So would you say that kind of changed? I'm sorry to cut you off, AJ. What were you saying?
I'm just going to close out and say, wait until the game hits $29.99 or $19.99 because honestly, if you were an old school fan going into this, you're not going to get much after the first playthrough. After that, the game is pretty much done. It loses its appeal. There's not much to unlock, and there's not really much reason to go back to it. So just wait.
Okay, that's you explained it well. You explained why you don't like what they're doing. You explained why you can't go back and play it. You have really good points there. I guess, Tony, would you agree with AJ on the Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition, how it's $50? Do you think it's a good deal?
I like Street Fighter V, the arcade edition.
All right.
No. Oh wait.
Let's
take
a quick laugh.
This is tough. See, I understand why game companies do what they do, but I also feel that the practice sometimes isn't worth it. Like AJ had said, the best asking price for this would have been about, $30 in my opinion, or at least 40, not 50. And I get that they have to make money because they weren't hitting the goals they wanted to, which is why they only knocked $10 off the asking price. They're just like, hey, you're getting all this DLC. I just feel that a lot of the stuff that they did offer for it just wasn't worth the asking price. It's not I'm saying like, oh, you need to give it all away for free. No, nothing like that. No, I don't think a lot of it should have been free at all. But didn't the DLC, the first wave of DLC, didn't that come out like a week after Resident Evil 7 got announced? Or I mean, sorry, yeah. See, that's
like a week or two.
Okay, see, that's my problem then. This is something that I noticed in companies when they announce DLC for a game that's not even out yet, and it's just like, okay, well, I can understand that, but when's it coming out? Wait, you're giving it to us a week after? Why not just wait a week? Now, I understand that companies have to hit these deadlines and everything like that. I totally understand that, but if you're gonna do this and everything, those the Sisters all those DLCs that came out after, it could have been delayed a week or two, and people would have just been fine knowing to get something. Because like AJ and Ali had said, replay value is something that Resident Evil games always had, and with being locked behind paywalls and the DLC these days, it's really hard to get you invested into playing these when there's nothing really to unlock towards the end. It's all DLC. I mean, even Resident Evil 0, that had a ton of DLC for it, which at the same time, I liked it because they had the fans help design those shirts for Rebecca and everything like that. Yeah. So that was all right in a sense. But yeah, there isn't too much to unlock in Resident Evil 7, and I think overall its experience for a re-release would have been at least anywhere between, if you hadn't played it already, at least $30 to $40, in my opinion. A $20 off at the asking price would have been good, because when Resident Evil 5 came out back in 2009, I believe. Yeah, thank you, dude. They had the Gold Edition come out, I think it was like 6 months later, and that was $50. Now, granted, yes, there was the new mode in it and everything. They did add a bunch of new stuff, but I think because it wasn't even a full year, I think that was kind of a rough asking price. And technically, 5 is the second-selling, best-selling Resident Evil game of all time. I just think that when companies do these things, I think they really, really need to reevaluate how they do it. Hold off the game, especially with fighting games. Like, just hold off the game for a week, work to get that DLC out and everything, get all of it out and everything, and I think it would have been better like that. As far as Gold Edition as a whole, for newcomers that wanted to wait, $30 to $40 is a good asking price for it. Other than that, I would not pay $50 for it.
Okay, good point. Good point. So you guys both agree that it's a little high. 50 is kind of a little more than you guys think it should be. Around $30 is a good price for the game and for all the DLC. It's been a year. Tipster with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Rose Tipster approved. Awesome. But yeah, I guess that leads to Ali. What do you think? Do you agree with these guys and it's a little higher than it should have been, or do you think that 50 is a good price for everything you get?
Yeah, I'm with them. I think it's a little expensive. My main thing is, okay, so last January you buy the game for $60 when it comes out, and a few weeks later you pay $15 to get the first DLC, and a few weeks later you pay $15 for another DLC. Then you wait a year and you pay $15 for another DLC. That's $45. So you spend $105 in a game that they're already re-releasing a year, not even a year later, as the Gold Edition with everything included for $50. I'm like, you just screwed everybody that just put all the money into your DLCs. Why would anybody want to do that in the future?
Yeah, very true.
Now everybody's going to wait, and just in a year or less, you're going to release the Gold Edition of whatever you put out with everything included for less than what we just paid. So that pisses me off. But and then the amount of content you put in these DLCs doesn't justify the 15 for each one. Yeah, I'm happy you gave us Not a Hero for free, but come on, I mean, the little bit of story and a couple extra mini games does not justify $15. I'm sorry. And 50 for everything as a Gold Edition, again, I think is too high. 40, maybe 30, but I think it was too soon. And you, like I said, you just kind of spit in the face of everybody that paid for your crap all year.
Yeah, I completely agree with you as far as releasing all this content out early and then dropping a Gold Edition so soon. Usually you wait.
Here's another thing too.
Yeah.
Is you drop End of Zoe at about the same time you drop the Gold Edition. So at the same time, actually. So why? I mean, you're screwing the people that bought your DLCs to begin with, because now it's like, all right, do I pay $15 to get the last DLC, or should I go back and pay $50 to get the whole game as a collector's item?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I think that like when it did come out and it was 15 for the Daughters DLC 15, and you got some cool, interesting DLCs like the Blackjack. That was different. I like when they try new things, but I don't feel like it was worth the price. And I feel like it was a bit expensive at first, and they did screw everybody over, by pretty much wrapping it up as so soon and dropping it. So I would agree with you there. As far as a complete experience, having Resident Evil 7, all the DLC, everything. Like if you were interested in playing Resident Evil 7 and you waited, like you're in luck. In my opinion, $50 is not bad for this whole experience. That you get all that for 50, it's a good deal. But if you played Resident Evil 7 already and you just want the DLC, it's a little high. I think 30 would have been a good price. But I feel like that their main core fans bought all this stuff early. They were the first person to jump on board with with getting the DLC packs. They were the first to get all this stuff, and then screw them. We're just gonna re-release it now at $50. You know what I mean? That's shady. That's not cool.
That's typical Capcom, is what it is.
Yeah.
And the sad thing about that, it's not even these developers that are doing it. It's these higher up guys in the boards, these CEOs and everything. They're the business portion. So they think they know how to do business the right way, but they're not gamers themselves. They don't know. They're not connected. I've seen this for years, and I've said this for years. It's kind of a major problem with these Japanese companies. Like American gaming companies understand it a bit more, and even guys I know at like Capcom USA and everything like that, they want to make more games. They want to they're the true gamers and stuff. They're not, they're not some guys in suits and everything. They care about their fans. They care about doing all these things. They don't want to. Because the problem is, it's like most people that don't realize how business works, it's these guys in the suits that are ruining it. So you're yelling at these guys on Twitter and on Facebook and all this stuff, and even at events like, well, why are you making this game like this? It's like, no, we're showing off the game and we're telling you about it. We didn't make this game. We're explaining it. I mean, you could tell us what's wrong with it, and we'll give the feedback to the corporation and everything, because that's the best way to go about doing it. You got to give the feedback to the people who can get you somewhere, or at least target the people at the company and not the developers. Because these guys do put in a lot of work, everything, and again, we it's not like we don't want them to see them get paid, but at the same time, it's not the developers' fault. It's the CEOs. They come in and they say, well, we're gonna do it like this, so add loot boxes to this instead, and do this. And you know what? We're gonna do DLC for this. That's the thing I'm talking about here. That's what happens with these things. It's like these obviously bad decisions that keep getting made, and people keep buying into it. So the bad decisions keep happening because it's making them a small amount of money sometimes.
Yeah.
My God, could you believe if they would put loot boxes in Resident Evil? You want this? You want this shotgun? Here, that's $2. Here's a loot box. Oh, you may or may not get it. It's gonna be random.
That's actually, right, that would have worked in Resident Evil Mercenaries, like in Resident Evil 5 or in like Revelations 2. Like they could have did loot boxes. It would have worked. It wouldn't have made people happy.
Bullshit! I'm not paying $2 for.
No, I wouldn't either. I'm just saying like that's kind of the direction that was going.
In-game currency, if I earned it, then that's one thing. But my own cash, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, no, I don't even want to go down that route because that just opens up a can of worms, and just the thought of loot boxes gets people going. I mean, even DLC gets people going. So, I guess we'll bring it back around to Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition. I feel like it is a good. You're getting basically a lot of content for the price. I feel like it is a good price if you haven't played. But if you have played, maybe it should be around 30. And that's kind of what you guys are saying. That it's just 30 seems like a good price for it. I just
I gotta respond quick to this because it's hilarious. Cyber wrote, but I'm surprised Umbrella Corps didn't have loot boxes. Well, the thing is, Umbrella Corps was too dead to even have loot boxes.
Yeah.
It was dead after a week.
That is very true.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd say rest in peace.
Sure, it would have had it. It would have had it, but that was a failed experiment. Let's not do that again. But yeah, that wraps up.
I'd say rest in peace, but you should just burn in hell.
Yes, don't be nice. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up our Resident Evil 7 talk. Kind of gave our thoughts on the Not a Hero DLC and the End of Zoe DLC, and then the package as a whole. It seems to be pretty. I don't know. What would you guys say our discussion about it was? It wasn't negative, but it was okay, I guess. Is that what we want to call it? Okay overall experience?
It's all right.
It's all right.
all right.
Resident Evil 7, I thought it was a good step back overall compared to 6.
You mean step forward?
Step forward.
Step
I
back
thought
from
it
that
was
action.
action, but there is still some elements in there with the first person. Like I said, I thought the first person mode really didn't add anything to it. It's just Capcom being lazy. They don't want to do the programming.
I don't know if it's lazy. It's just a different approach.
They're lazy. The game itself was, really good. DLC and all the other bullshit, and it was a solid game. But like I said, there's no replayability, so there's really no point in going back to it.
Okay.
And like it was said in the chat, and we've talked about this before, you didn't have to put Resident Evil in the title. You didn't have to do the Not a Hero with Chris. He didn't have to be in the game at all. This could have been its own IP, and it would have been just as successful, if not probably more on its own, because it wouldn't have been compared to everything else.
You don't think with all the companies and all the BOW sort of weapons and stuff, it would have been like, hey, you guys put this game out that's not Resident Evil, but it looks like this could have been Resident Evil 7. I feel like it's too similar. They would have had to change quite a bit of it.
There were choices made in the development process to make it like Resident Evil that didn't have to be there. It could have been its own if you had taken out some of the things, like the healing items didn't have to reflect what we know as healing items. It could have been its own thing if you had just left out some of the Resident Evil stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is kind of not in our notes, but do you feel like Resident Evil 7 was a good direction for the series, or do you feel like it would have been better in a different direction? Or do you not know because it's a hard decision to make? AJ, start with you.
Yeah. Like I said, it was nice to get back to the horror aspect of the series, but it kind of kills it for me because I cannot do first-person games. It's better than most first-person games. It doesn't give me motion sickness or anything, but it doesn't really add anything to it. So I don't want to see that aspect brought back, but I know they're gonna because they want to go after that casual fan base.
Okay.
So I'm on the fence right now. I thought it was good, but there is some mechanics like the first person and some other aspects I don't like.
But what do you think about the story part of it? You feel like that's a good direction?
Mediocre as the rest of the games. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
It's never been Resident Evil's strong suit when it comes to stories.
That's true. What do you think, Tony? What do you like the direction Resident Evil 7 took, or would you like to see a different approach?
Well, how we got to look at this is Resident Evil 7 I could feel is a lot like Code Veronica. Code Veronica wasn't exactly a mainstay entry, even though it was originally supposed to be, and it was originally supposed to be like, yeah, exactly. So, we can be mad that Chris is in it for a little bit, but there's no Jill, there's no Barry, no other characters, and this isn't really a main style story. For whatever it is, we can just look at it like Code Veronica as a game that we all do enjoy and everything. It's a solid horror game. I'm sure that the VR experience on it enhances it even better. As for replay value, the only real replay value is just playing it over again on a harder difficulty to give yourself that really good challenge, which is what a lot of Resident Evil games would do. Like Resident Evil 3 did, they had the normal and the hard mode, and the remake as well had that as those modes as well. So I think as far as the story goes, it is what it is. It's like Code Veronica. It doesn't really go anywhere. Probably won't hear anything ever about Resident Evil 7 again, per se. I mean, the only time you ever heard of Code Veronica again was during the Dark Side Chronicles, honestly.
Yeah.
And everything, because not just because they retold the story, but because the Operation Javier had something to do with the T Veronica virus. So, with Manuela and everything. So, again, yeah, it's an all right story. I think the characters and especially the actors involved in it were really good. And honestly, I feel that the Baker family is some of the most memorable and bosses and characters in a Resident Evil game over the last couple of years. I think when you really look at 5, you don't really remember a lot of the enemies because the infected are just the infected, the dogs are just dogs, and then you get the bugs and everything like that, and then you get the executioners and stuff, and the executioners are somewhat memorable. 6 doesn't have a lot of memorable creatures except for that walking pile of boobs and shit, but other than that, I say that after 4 and the creatures that are in 4, because the creatures in 4 had character. They had personality to them. They weren't just like random like creatures and everything. They were something. They all had like a personality to them in some way. And that's how the Bakers worked. And I think that it worked out fine to where, I think they also made it seem like the Bakers would have been a bigger part of the actual game itself, and instead of just relying on the molded in certain areas,
Yeah.
I think if you had done like a thing where Jack kind of like turned up more and Marguerite turned up in certain areas more, and you had to like run and hide from them kind of thing, kind of like an Outlast thing, and wait for them to leave the room type deal, which I think, if I remember correctly, you do something like that. No, you got to fight them every time you come in contact with them. Either way, the story and the characters in this I think are really good. I just treat it, like I said, I just treat it like a Code Veronica game, like Code Veronica type situation.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Can I just say I kind of want to burn the witch for comparing Code Veronica to 7?
I mean, somebody should have probably said that.
You said that, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
AJ's gonna get pissed.
That's one of the reasons why I said it.
Just trying to get them riled up. What do you think, Ali? Do you think 7 was a step in the right direction?
All right, I'm gonna get the Hulkbuster armor. Hold on a sec.
I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part. I liked a lot of the elements. The Bakers were amazing. The acting, the cast was phenomenal. I did like the first person for what it was, because it was a different style. I like immersion games like that where you're in the perspective of the person.
Yeah.
But the storyline for Ethan sucked. I mean, it starts off with, okay, you got a message from your dead wife. Did you call the cops? Did you want to get it? Anybody else involved in this besides some random guy on the phone was like, fuck it, go.
Yeah.
Go see what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, that's your best buddy right there. Hey, yeah, go to some random house and see what's up. It's like,
Yeah. Why not?
So there's a lot of story stuff that I'm like, it just wasn't really making sense or flowing right. But they had some cool moments, some real shock value, like getting your arm chopped off or randomly getting your leg chopped off by Jack, or busting through walls, or Marguerite's transformation. I still remember that scene when you go back to the hole that you were in, that you shot her and she falls into and she drops her lantern. I remember that scene where the arm comes out and it's all crazy looking and grabs the lantern and pulls it into the tunnel. I was like, oh fuck
Yeah,
no.
I love that. I
So
love
there was
that.
a lot of great moments in it, and I like the flow of it, like the progression. Okay, the first block is stealth, avoiding Jack, and he's like this brute force just coming at you all the time. And then the more stealth, avoiding Marguerite and her pets, her babies, and then the puzzles with Lucas. So all that was good until you get to the ship, and then the ship takes like a right turn that goes the wrong direction, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It starts to say, oh wait, we're Resident Evil. Let's put Resident Evil back in there in some form, and it ruins it for me. And then it fizzles out at the end with the Eevee fight. The DLCs were good for some of the stuff they added. I liked the bedroom DLCs for what it gave you. It was cool to see that aspect of trying to solve puzzles within this room, and if you don't put something back the way it was, she's gonna know.
Yeah.
That was interesting. The daughters one was cool to give you the story of how the Bakers transformed into what they are, and seeing that different side of them, as they were normal at first, except for Lucas. Lucas was always an ass. And even the later ones, like, okay, we got to see something from Chris, but it concluded Lucas's story. We got to see something from Zoe, and it gave you Joe Baker and some more family element. So there was a lot of good things they did in there, but there was also a lot that was like just unnecessary, bad choices. And I mean, it is what it is at this point. I enjoyed it for what it was, but like we were saying, I'm not going to go back and play it again anytime soon.
Yeah. I guess I'll keep mine real short, because you guys, you pretty much summarized exactly what I was thinking. If I had to say, what do I like, would I have liked it to go in a different direction, or do I like the direction it went? I like the direction it went. I enjoyed 7. It wasn't perfect, and it definitely had issues, but there was a lot to like. I did like the first person. It felt like I was more immersed. I did like the flow. Like, there was a good balance of the game. There was fight, there was hide, because like I don't know about most people, but I can't stand games where you're constantly hiding from the enemy. Like, there's no fighting, you're just hiding. It drives me nuts.
Don't play Outlast.
Outlast, no. Amnesia, no. I don't like that. I like having a balance.
But
in this
he
game,
basically did play Amnesia.
yeah. I mean, I felt like it was balanced. You had hide moments, but then you had fight moments. I really like that. I think the game was great 2/3 of the way through, and then the last third is where it fell off for me. As far as characters, Ethan was not our new Leon. He was not our new Chris. He was not our new Jill. He wasn't interesting at all. I was not a fan of him, and I liked Mia far more than him. The enemies I really did enjoy. And I think as far as like an overall story, yeah, I mean, you guys said that, like, it's never really been known for its story. You have certain titles in the series that stand out more than others, but there's nothing really like mind-blowing. I mean, the real mind-blowing ones were the first couple games where you didn't know a lot about Umbrella, and you didn't, like, I guess the biggest twist in the series was finding out that, you know, your team was against you. So the story for what it was fine. But I do feel like I'm trying to think of a better direction, and sure, I can think of a few things here and there I would have liked to see, but I think overall I did enjoy it, and I think 7 overall was a good experience and a good step forward for the series. Now, I don't know what we're going to see in Resident Evil 8. I don't know if they're going to stick with the first person. I think that was a one and done thing. Who knows? You know, they could stick with first person. I don't know if they're going to continue the storyline. No idea. But the question was, what do we think of Resident Evil 7 overall? And I guess I enjoyed it. All right, that pretty much wraps it up.
Can we all agree, though, that Resident Evil 7 kind of fell apart at that boat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's like the 2/3,
Yeah.
the 1/3, the last 1/3 part that I don't know, even maybe even a little before then. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the enemies and stuff, so it's just it got messy at the end. But okay, so that wraps up our Resident Evil 7 talk. Next up in the news is Resident Evil 2 just had its 20th anniversary. So my favorite game of all time, a lot of people would say is the best in the series, just turned 20. So do you feel old yet? Because you should. But yeah, so that was a big deal for a lot of Resident Evil fans. I don't know, did you guys celebrate that at all? AJ, did you do anything for it?
I didn't get to play the game, sadly, because I don't have a PS1 anymore, and I didn't feel like breaking out the emulator. So,
Oh no. Okay.
I did have a little talk with Survival Combatants and Tipster, and we also did the Resident Evil Code Veronica stream on Twitch. We got a bunch of people together just talking Resident Evil for a bit. So, yeah, we celebrated a little bit.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Did Tony or Ali, did you guys celebrate the 20th anniversary of Resident Evil?
Well, I took a long, hard look at the games. It's been a long 20 years, Sonny. No, no, you know, well, I did do the video for the 20th anniversary.
Yes,
that
you
was
did.
my, you know, if any of you guys haven't seen it on our channel, there's kind of like a retrospective look back at Resident Evil 2 and what it did for the franchise, where I was in my life and what it had done for me. I mean, Resident Evil 3 is my favorite Resident Evil game of all time, but I can understand why people say that 2 is the best, because if I had to do a non-biased opinion about it, I would say, yeah, 2 is the best, better of the originals, and quite possibly one of the best Resident Evil games, because 1, it helped put Resident Evil on the map. 2, Resident Evil 3 was more of an expansion pack than, you know, than a full-on game. That thing was, like, you revisited a lot of the same areas.
True.
But, you know, I did that, and it really, while doing the video and doing the research, there were things that I left out that I thought about later. And I really just loved everything about that game back in the day. It was, you know, I don't get the same rush for a lot of games these days as I used to back in the old days. Like, when you got a new game, maybe it's because, like, we're all spoiled now, like, graphics are a lot better. But seeing that game and what it was comparing to where I, you know, came from playing the first one, because I played the first one at launch back in the day. So I really loved Resident Evil 2 for what it is. Like I said in the video, I find no faults with this game at all. I feel that it's very well-rounded. There's enough unlockables in it. The characters and voice acting have been updated in this. There's more interaction. There's more of a story in this than there was in 1. A lot of things kind of somewhat unfold within the story much more than they did in RE1. So, yeah, it gave us some of the characters, the most memorable characters from the games, whether they be dead or alive now. And it gave us some of the best music. So there's really nothing I can say bad about this game, honestly.
Yeah.
But did you celebrate?
Yeah, no, I said I did. I celebrated. That
video was
I
great.
I made the video, and that video was, you know, me talking about my experiences with the game and such.
Yeah, no, what you just said, everything
Sorry,
you just said was a good way to bring up this Resident Evil 2 20th anniversary topic. Like I said, it means so much to so many people. It was a big deal. It was a very big deal, and you definitely celebrated by making that retrospective video, which is great. So if you guys haven't checked that out, definitely do. It's on the channel after this. Jeff, did you celebrate? Or Ali, did you celebrate? Or what did you do for the 20th anniversary?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really celebrate, but I mean, shit, it's been 20 years. It's insane.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was I guess 13 the first time I played it, and it changed my life when it came out that summer. Well, it came out earlier than there, but I found it that summer. I found out what Resident Evil was, and I found out what, like, actually gaming was. And I will say this: I know Paul Haddad is a future guest someday, hopefully, if we ever work it out with him. But I talk to him regularly, and I had messaged him that day, and I said, today is 20 years of the anniversary of Resident Evil 2, and even he was like, "Holy shit!" He's like, "Wow, that was a long time ago." I was like, "Yeah." So, I mean, it holds a special place in my heart, and I didn't really celebrate it, but it's just incredible that it's 20 years ago.
Yeah, time has flown. I guess, yeah, it was my favorite game. It sort of shaped me into who I am today. The channel exists because of that game. That's where I got into the series. That's how I met all you guys. It was, in my opinion, the perfect Resident Evil game. I don't have any flaws with it. Even the things that people have flaws with, I think, wouldn't be the same without those. So, it's a very big deal to me. And I guess everybody was very upset because for the 20th anniversary in America was the 21st. We expected to see something on it, and Capcom didn't acknowledge it, and everybody was up in arms, and everybody was, I would say, overreacting and acting completely unnecessarily. Not everybody, I'm sorry. There was a large majority of people that were fine, but there was a small minority that were very, very vocal about anger, and I can kind of get that. You gotta acknowledge, the game that means a lot to so many. But then they acknowledged it on the 20th anniversary in Japan, which was January 29th. And they had a liquor cake, and they, said happy birthday, Japanese version, happy belated birthday in America. So they did acknowledge it, and that kind of helped everybody calm down. But then I thought I read that they posted somewhere that there was We Do It. Am I correct? Did they have that on their post?
I didn't see that. All I saw was the cake.
Yeah, I didn't see that either, but I seen somewhere it said something about We Do It, and I was like, oh, it just confirms to everybody who thought the remake wasn't in development. It just confirms that it's still good to go and nothing to worry about. But yeah, so that wraps it up for Resident Evil 2's 20th anniversary. Now
I want cake.
Now I want cake. Now I'm hungry. Damn it, that was a cool cake too. The eyeballs and the liquor brains.
It really was.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Very well done. I guess, do you guys want to get into kind of the news going around about the Resident Evil 2 remake right now? Is sort of the possible leaks, the rumored leaks, the 4chan leaks, which take with a huge grain of salt. Do you guys want to discuss any of those leaks?
Sure, yeah, we could definitely do that.
I think because,
Go for it, Tony.
they may be false. They may totally be false. And, these come from 4chan, an anonymous user, most likely false. But regardless of true or false, it makes for a good discussion. So, real quick, I guess we can hit on some of the main topics because it answers a lot of questions, or it brings up a lot of points that people are curious about with the Resident Evil 2 remake. We haven't seen anything on it. We expected to get something on the 20th anniversary, and we haven't got anything. I do think we're going to get something soon. I was thinking we'd get something for the 20th, but we didn't. But yeah, so I guess to wrap up what this leak talks about is that it's an over-the-shoulder game. They tried first-person to fix it, didn't work. Some of the RPD and the surrounding streets were vastly redesigned, so not just tweaked, but vastly. Only 2 campaigns, so no zapping system, no A and B scenario for both. You got Leon A and Claire B. Crocodile was cut. Ada's section was vastly added to, so there's a lot more for Ada. She gets new weapons and stuff. Hunk was cut and possibly a DLC. Because Hunk was cut and the Croc was cut, there's possibly no Tofu. Costumes are back, so we get the Resident Evil 1.5 Elsa, it says, and the Resident Evil 1.5 gear for Leon. And we still get the Rebecca picture and something else that's hidden in the trash. And it says that it's projected for a late 2018 target release date. So, yeah, Tony, whatever you want to talk about, man. What do you want to get into with this?
All right, let me crack my knuckles here. Okay.
All right. Limber up, stretch out.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So when I saw that JJ had done this video about the Resident Evil 2 leaks and everything, I watched the video, obviously, and I saw the anonymous, he screen capped it and he put it up on the video. Now, I read through a lot of this stuff, and I want to say that this is probably all 100% fake, because a lot of the people that are out there on 4chan and Reddit and everything, they don't really hide who they are anymore. They just keep putting spoilers out there that have turned out to be true. And with games like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite happening and the things that appeared in that, and then other games out there that are, things that were spoiled that did come true. People were usually open about it. They didn't care what their name was. It was just a name.
Yeah.
So I looked through and I read everything, and I felt that, okay, this could be real because the way the guy words all these leaks is something that Capcom has done in the past with their games. So you could see why people could believe this, because this is something that Capcom has done before with past games. So I feel that, everything's, locked behind a paywall and everything, and, they throw some throwback and everything into the system and everything, and they might go with the over-the-shoulder view because it's what they've been doing since 2005 when Resident Evil 4 came out. So that's why I think that a lot of it's fake. The guy, plus the swearing in it too. He's like, none of that bullshit like in the US version of RE2 when it comes to the sparkling items and everything. I think that maybe he was just angry, or it kind of proves. I mean, I analyze things way too much. My father was a police officer, and he trained me to see and look through things. So I just feel that it's bullshit. It's not. It's bullshit. No, but I just think that this all might be made up in a way that would seem that this could be a viable leak if it was true. This is something Capcom has been known to do with certain things in the past. So honestly, I mean, if Tofu's not in it, that's not really that big of a loss. I don't feel that he got that much attention anyway.
True.
So yeah. I don't know. Like I said, if the crocodile's taken out, I'm gonna be pissed.
I think a lot of people are.
Well, that fight is just really good,
It was something you remember. So there wasn't a whole lot of gameplay there. The tank falls, you shoot it explodes its head, but you remember that crocodile's fucking head exploding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the top of the head just blows right off, and you got yourself alligator chunks everywhere. And it's like, hey, I can make leather gloves out of it.
Yeah, that's a lot of leather, but that was crazy, and I think that's why so many people were upset when they read that about Croc being cut, is because it was a memorable part of the game.
An iconic moment. It was completely random, but it was iconic.
Yeah, and it fit. If it was in the sewers and it came out of nowhere, and you're like, okay, giant spiders, giant crocs, cool. So did you have anything else you'd like to say, Tony, at all on it? You just don't think you think it's BS, and there's don't take too much too seriously.
Yeah, I think it's BS, the fact that they couldn't get the fixed and FPS version to work. That to me, I'm just like, no, I think they could.
Yeah.
The way I think of this, I think they're going to go the route. The money route. And what I mean by that, money and fame route. Now, granted, yes, the Resident Evil franchise has been popular for years because of what Resident Evil 4 did. Resident Evil 5 was more action-oriented, but playing with friends and its inventory improvement, it was done very well. 6, we all know what 6 was. Whether you like it or not, you have to admit the faults that were in Resident Evil 6. Like I said, I know people who like the game, but even they can admit the faults. But when it came to Resident Evil Remastered being thrown on... when it was being thrown onto what it is now, it was thrown onto the PSN, the PS3 and PS4.
Yeah.
People went crazy for that. They went nuts, and this was people who shunned the older games and they couldn't play with tank controls. Then they found out that there's an analog option, which is something that did exist in the N64 version of Resident Evil 2. So I think that Capcom, in my opinion, these leaks may not be true and all, which is the whole you can't get the fixed camera angles to work. I think they can, because I think they saw. I think it still holds a huge record on the PSN for being the most downloaded game or something like that you paid for.
Yeah, it did really well.
It did. It was breaking all kinds of records on PSN alone. I didn't check Steam or Xbox 360 or Xbox One, so. All I kept hearing was all the stuff about PSN for the PS3, PS4, and that was just, you gotta remember, that's just digital sales. Japan got the physical version of the disc, which I ended up buying on Play Asia, so there's also the physical copies of that game as well.
I have a physical one as well, which...
Hell yeah.
We got it here.
What do you mean we got it here?
Because I bought the physical copy for the PS4.
Oh, you got the Origins collection, though.
Yeah. I got the Origins collection.
Yeah. No, I got the regular Resident Evil remastered one for the PS4.
Okay.
Because you got to remember that one came out before 0. anything. Remastered came out before Zero did on the PS4 and PS3, but the PS3 was the only one that got a physical copy because that was during the early days of the PS4. So they were kind of afraid that a physical version of Resident Evil Remastered wasn't going to sell, so they just did it on PS3 because people were still playing the hell out of the PS3 at the time. So I think that honestly, that might be the route they go because that made them a lot of money and it got a lot of new school fans that have been fans of Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 and the Revelations franchise. That got them interested in the old games that they said they didn't want to play because of the controls. Now with the analog option, it's a lot easier. So I think that, closing out, like I said, the leaks might be fake, but I feel that my idea is more sound than what we've read here.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, you make a lot of good points on it. Arlie, is there anything you wanted to say on the leaks or anything about the Resident Evil 2 remake you would like to bring up from that?
Yeah, I think parts of it are true and accurate. I think it's old. I think it's old content that it's old leaks, and I think
because we've got a lot of these leaks before from other people that had credible sources.
Yeah, I feel like they probably have made some changes since that. We don't know when it came out, but I figured that there's some decisions that were probably made, if those leaks are accurate, that have been corrected by now, I would hope.
Yeah.
Some of it makes sense, and I like some of the decisions they're making. I like the fact that we're going to see more of the city, more of the RPD, more of the sewers, all the different areas.
Okay.
I don't mind third-person perspective. I'd like fixed angled, but I can get where they're going with that because they've used that style for so long. To me, it's not really that much of an issue. It would make the gameplay probably easier and harder in a way because they could do more with it. I think putting fixed camera angles would be amazing, but at the same time, I think it restricts what they would be able to do as far as the game is concerned. Taking the croc out doesn't make any sense to me because that is, if you're releasing something because it's a nostalgia and the fans love it and this is something we've cried about for a long time, you don't take out one of the best parts of the original game. It's something that was just, again, iconic. The alligator was iconic. It was random and just off the wall, but it was something that you will always remember from the game. The hunk thing, I can understand what they're doing with that. I don't agree with it. That's going to be a DLC, but I can see them actually giving him some storyline to play through, not just a survival, get out of there type mission.
That'd be cool.
So I think we're going to see some story to him, which would be cool. Ada getting her own campaign. A lot of people are saying, well, they cut out the A-B scenarios. It's not necessarily they cut them out. It's just there's no alternate version. There's an A with
the zapping
Leon.
system.
Yeah, it's either an A with Leon or a B with Leon. I don't remember who gets what. I think it's B with Leon, and Claire is A.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it's supposed to go. So you're going to get a Claire story, you're going to get Leon's story, and then Ada's going to have her own story, which will intersect with Leon, of course, and everybody else. So in a way, it's almost like Resident Evil 6, where you had different campaigns for each person, and those were very long campaigns. So I'm expecting to see a lot of story behind it for each campaign fleshed out more. Tofu should be in there, and I think that's pretty much it. I can't think of what else were there that we were talking about for that.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
No, you pretty much summarized it, pretty much all the main points well.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get too far into my ideas because I've explained in videos many, many times. But I kind of agree with you that not everything about this leak, if it's true, was negative. I like the thought of the vastly altered RPD and city streets. And at first, if I would have heard they were changing the RPD, I'd have been like, hell no, the RPD was awesome. You keep it the same. You just, make it like Resident Evil 1 Remake where you add a couple things. But if they continue the same gothic, ominous style of Resident Evil 2, and they change it in a way that's new for old fans and new fans, we may be able to explore a whole new RPD that's very reminiscent and similar to the classic, but is a new experience for all of us. And to add on to the streets, the labyrinth of streets, I think that's incredible. I would love more streets. Raccoon City streets are a character in themselves, just like the RPD. It's a part of the story. So I will, I'd love to see those. As far as, I second you on the camera angles. At first I was very adamant that they need to be fixed to stay true to the classic, but I'm open to an over-the-shoulder as long as it's done properly, and if they are changing the RPD, then they may make it so that the game is balanced accordingly to that, and I'm okay, if it turns out okay. And the rest, who knows? Like I said, I've discussed this stuff previously, but, in all, it wasn't all bad from this. There was some pretty positive things, and there were some very negative things.
Well, there's one thing I want to add, and this might actually make a lot of people happy because I might not have thought about this. Now, I know a lot of people have had backlash. They're like, oh, they're changing the RPD. This is what we know. They can't change the classic. They can't do this. Why are they going to do this to us? Well, here's the thing, guys. This is what you got to remember. Think about what Resident Evil Remake did for the original Resident Evil. Now, granted, the original Resident Evil main hall, the stairwell where the save room is with the busted door, or near the busted door that Barry fixes, the guardhouse. Think of all these areas that you grew up with the original Resident Evil 1 and then played in the remake. They were all redone in a way that didn't hurt the original. If anything, it improved the original. And that's what we're looking at. That's what we could be looking at for the Resident Evil 2 remake. A lot of the stuff may still be there, because you also have to remember too, a lot of places in the RPD were boarded off, we couldn't get into and stuff. So
yeah,
we've got areas where we're going to see updates to how these are done. And if Capcom has been watching the fan remakes on YouTube for years and everything, they're going to be like, oh, okay, so we could do it like this and people are still going to like it. And then what a lot of people don't, you got to realize too, Resident Evil Remake was also about 60% new stuff as well. So it was like 40% old stuff, 60% new things. So by doing that, we're gonna get new areas of a police station. We may get like the shooting range, which I think was in 1.5. We may even see things from 1.5 get put in this game because there's more space on the game to play. So we could see a lot more areas of the RPD. So if you're upset that they might change things, think about that, what I just said, in the future, and just be like, oh, well, Tony was right on that. Like, we could be seeing updated things of what we like. Now, I'm not saying they could totally go around and just screw that up. Yeah, they could do that. But, I think if they follow what they did with Remake, I think it's possible that we'll see something good.
Yeah, I hope they follow that, because I feel like Remake is the best made Resident Evil game to date. And I think a lot of people would agree. But yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps up the Resident Evil 2 rumor leaks. We can kind of get into our discussion now about the Residents of Evil celebrating the 1-year anniversary on YouTube, and kind of go around. I should note, AJ, his internet went down, so unfortunately AJ is not going to be able to join us for the rest of the night. But yes, it's our 1-year anniversary of being on YouTube. It has been an incredible year. Just all the support, all the cool people we've met. It's been seriously it's extremely surreal, an amazing experience for all of us. Am I right by saying that?
Yeah, I'll let Ali go on this one.
Okay, I didn't know if anybody was here. Everybody just kind of got quiet, like maybe it wasn't surreal for everybody, but it has been. Just all the people we've met, all the people we got to interview, just incredible. So I wanted to go around and kind of get your thoughts on some of the big moments this year, and anything you want to talk about, something big that happened with the Residents of Evil that, meant a lot to you. I guess we'll start with you, Tony.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can do me. I actually have this prepared. So, we've all been through a lot over this whole year with everything we've done, everything that JJ and Ali have done here on the channel, about getting videos together, organizing guest appearances, and AJ's promoting and everything. We've all done a lot here, and everyone's like, what do you do here? And it's like, well, I make bad jokes. That's what I do. But no, you guys have seen the videos I've made for the channel as well. But I think between some of the, getting to talk to guys like DC Douglas, Allison Court, David Vaughn was a great interview, talking to somebody who didn't know about the series, but you could tell he cared about what he was doing. He's passionate about his work. Me and Ali talking to Ruben Langdon, who does motion capture for Chris, and is Dante from Devil May Cry. I think out of everything, plus we all got to I went to go see Vendetta in the theaters, and we all did a review on that.
Yeah,
I think that the number one moment for me of the past year with the Residents of Evil gang, I think would have to be the day that we played Resident Evil Outbreak online.
That was so much fun. That literally was one of my favorite moments as well.
Oh yeah, that's oh man, it's just, see, I had tried to play that as a kid when I was really young, and I didn't have the internet. Like, nobody did. Like, I didn't understand technology back then. I think it was 13 years old or something like that. But internet was still kind of in its infancy in many ways back then. It wasn't as good as what it is now.
Yeah.
So by playing that and just finally getting to experience what I've always wanted to with friends was really amazing. And, because of Discord now and everything like that, we can all experience this together. And
Definitely.
that was like the best team moment. That was like the best team moment for me, honestly, right there. And ROE moment was just going through the zoo, and I was like, all right, guys, we're in this area. Do not open that door. And JJ opens the freaking door.
I didn't know. It caught my attention.
Yeah, I told you not to do it. If the door is shaking, it's like, I'm going full.
We're gonna bring this up now. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, just like
poor
doing that.
decision making, JJ. Poor decision making.
I'm not known for making great decisions. Okay.
And you're our leader. This is great. No, like, I mean, I just see it, and I'm going full George Costanza here. I'm like, nope. You go in there, you ruin it, JJ. You got us killed almost.
Such an awesome
it was
time.
It was just so fun. And then Ali dying, and then JJ, you're swiping the elephant in the testicles with like a butcher's knife and everything.
I was gonna fucking kill it.
Oh my god, that probably did actually help me a lot to get us to end that, because I was the only one left at the end of that.
Yeah,
but
you were.
Just being able to play this game that, like, what's this game now, like 14 years old now or something like that?
Yeah.
Waiting all these years to finally play something like this, and I'm glad that we got the chance to do this. I'm glad we're still playing the game, because I'll play this game whenever. This is like one of it's a game that's 14 years old, but
still good.
It shows you just how much fun factor this game has when you can play it with friends.
Definitely.
And that's definitely my my top Residence of Evil moment of 2017.
Cool. That's a good one. What about you, Ali? What was some of your highlights or your favorite moments from this year of the Residence of Evil?
Yeah, definitely the team streams have been a major highlight. They've been a lot of fun. Everything we've done with that has just been a blast when you put us all together. And the interviews have been awesome. I mean, we've talked to Allison Court, we've talked to DC, we've interviewed all these new great additions to the cast, as well as some older ones. It's been really an awesome experience to meet these people that you've looked up to as actors and entertainers for so long, that have played these characters that are such an important part of your history of gaming and the series. It's been just such a cool experience to talk to them and get some behind the scenes and get to know them and share that with everybody and really experience that. That's probably the biggest things for me would be our team streams, and then definitely the interviews have just been outstanding. Yeah,
that definitely. I guess for me, just meeting you guys, we all kind of knew each other, but I don't think we would ever grew this friendship if it wasn't for us actually coming together and doing the podcast. And because of the podcast, then came the interviews. Because of the interviews came the team streams. Because of the team streams, we started working on videos. So that was definitely one of my biggest highlights of this year. Was just meeting you guys and making some new friends. Also, meeting Mona Memory and having a song done, that was awesome. Having an art picture done by G67 for us, seeing us in the Stars gear was super cool. Meeting all these people that voiced the characters of my favorite characters as a kid. Getting to live the dream of a Resident Evil fan. And then getting to meet everybody, the audience, and having such a supportive, caring audience who likes what we do and tunes in every, week or every time we put something out to watch it and they enjoy it. It's just been so amazing. There's too many highlights to really choose from that are favorites. It's been incredible. So I'm very happy for the support we got this past year, the success of the channel, and I'm looking forward to all the cool things we have coming up. So I think that's pretty much between what you guys said and that, it's pretty much a good way to put it. It's been amazing. So thank you to everybody. Honestly, thank you so much, guys.
JJ has feelings.
I got the feelings.
I was second that. Outside of everything else, interviews, everything, the content we've done has been fun and it's great. But the biggest thing, and you said it, is the fans, everybody who's rallied behind us and supported it, and the love that we get from everyone is just. I've never experienced anything like this. It's an amazing feeling to have, just the support system. And we love to make this content. We love interacting with everybody, and we will continue doing it as long as you'll have us.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you guys. Like we said, it means a lot. So that's 1 year of the Residence of Evil on YouTube. Tons more stuff coming. I guess we'll get to here in a second. We'll get to our future plans. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. But first, I guess we'll get to any of your questions. So we'll take a few questions from you guys if you have any. We'll pull a few, and I guess while we're doing that, was there anything else you guys wanted to add at all?
Pretty much just, we're always thankful for what you guys donate. I mean, we've been getting super chats from you guys all night. And, when we do the, what do you call it there? When we do the live streams, you're always tuning into what we play. I will do more of that in the future. I promise. I am not good with live streaming stuff. So it's hard for me to get that stuff, and I don't want to be a pain to the others at times. But I do want to thank you for all the support that you give us, whether it be from JJ's videos that he does or the videos that I pop in once in a while. All the interviews you tune in for when Ali does those and everything. We greatly appreciate, because I don't want to sound cheesy like all those like popular people on Facebook and other like YouTube sites that don't give a damn, but we literally do this, and the response you guys give us is what makes us want to go bigger and better. And because it's good. It's like, we can be comfortable, but we want people to start liking what we do. And if people like what we do, we want to keep making it better. And this is the best way to do it, is by, letting you guys know what we've got coming up. Everything you give to us goes back to you in some way, shape, or form. And for what we got coming up, I guarantee you guys are going to like a lot with what we got planned. Definitely.
Cool. We got some questions in now. I guess we'll start off with Survive Combatants. Show said, did you... hold on. I might have wrote that down weird. But Survive Combatant said, how did you guys meet? So how did we all meet? That's a good question. I guess I've known AJ for a while now. AJ ran the Resident Evil 1.5 page, and I was an editor on the Remake Resident Evil 2 page on Facebook. And we always talked about doing a podcast, and then we never really actually went ahead with it. And then, shortly after, I started the Residents of Evil YouTube channel, and I've known Jeff for a little while, because Jeff was an editor on the Residents of Evil Facebook page with me. And we got back in contact with AJ, and we started discussing the podcast. And I said, hey, I know this guy who's a fan of Resident Evil and helps with the Facebook channel. Why don't we have him on? And he said, hey, I know this guy who helps with the Resident Evil 1.5 channel. His name's Tony. Why don't we have him on? And I think that's how we all met. Like, it was like our first podcast, wasn't it?
Pretty much. I mean, honest to truth, guys, I was just some bum on the street they found, and they're like, hey, he's wearing a tattered Star shirt. Maybe we can like do something with him and give him a couple bucks and clean him up for radio and shit. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's pretty much how it actually did go. And Ernesto, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. This channel is awesome. He says, I highly agree, or else I would not be doing this, because
awesome,
they don't pay me that much. They just give me half a sandwich and a bottle of water.
Yeah. All right. That's about it. Don't tell people that. Don't reveal our things we do. Okay, so the next question we have is Hazazameni. Sorry if I fucked that up. I probably did. Plans on doing a fan meetup or something, I guess. So, what do you guys want to take that? Do we have any plans for that?
So, we try and frequent conventions. I try and go to as many as I can get to, if they're in my area. We all kind of live in areas where there's conventions. I'm sure if there's one coming that you guys are close to, that you're attending, it could always be worked out. I was just at PAX South a few weeks ago, and I put it out there. Anybody who was in the area who was coming to PAX South, just throw it out, and would love to do a meetup and just meet everybody and hang out and have a good time. Same thing goes for PAX East. I should be attending PAX East in April. So it's out there. If you guys are going to PAX East and you want to hang out, just let us know. And I'm down for the hangouts. I'm down for the meetups.
Yeah, same here, because I also am going to PAX East because it's in my city of Boston. I'm sure you all have noticed my horrible Boston accent by now. And no, the Boondock Saints was not based on real events, and no, I do not know Mark Wahlberg.
Doesn't everybody know Mark Wahlberg?
No, dude, you have no. Every time I travel out of state or out of New England, you would not believe how many people ask me if I know Mark Wahlberg.
I thought Mark was at the airport just greeting people like, "Hey, I'm from Boston. I'm Mark Wahlberg. How's your mother?"
Pretty much, but no, we do kind of want to do a big meetup one day. A lot of us have a lot going on this year. I'm not gonna get in anybody's personal life. It's all good things though, but a lot of good things are happening for guys like JJ and Ali and even myself towards near the end of the year. So we kind of need to figure out where exactly the main fan base is. And honestly, if we get big enough and convention, like you can get us at conventions. and everything, and they check out our work and what we do and everything, it is possible to get us out there. Problem is, a lot of conventions, because I'm big into the convention circuit because I'm a photographer for my job and everything. I'm my own boss, but I also go to conventions, and the conventions and how they work, they don't consider YouTube stars worth bringing in. Not like famous cosplayers like Jessica Negri and all them and everything like that.
Yeah.
But if we did panels and everything like that, and they turned out to be good, and we got a good following, people really would like what we do. And like I said, if you follow our channel, we'll let you know what conventions we're going to. I don't know where everybody is that follows us because we get people from other countries. But if you're like from Boston or Texas area for some of the other guys and everything, keep us let us know and everything.
You know what? Capcom needs to do a Resident Evil Fan Fest, and then we could all meet up.
That would be amazing.
Come
on, Capcom.
That would be great. Get on that, Capcom. I'm writing them right now.
Right goddamn now. Okay. Santiago asked if we're going to be playing Outbreak Online with fans. I think that's a cool idea. I think we should take a night and just not even stream, but just play with, other people from the Residents of Evil. We wouldn't be able to play with everybody, but I think that's something we can consider this year, is trying to have a day set aside to play online. I mean, AJ and who is it? AJ's been playing online with a lot of the patrons and stuff like that. And we play online. We have a server in our Patreon for 7 Days to Die. So if you're a Patreon, you get access to our server. We play all the time on there. So yeah, we definitely try to play with the viewers as much as possible. It's hard to play with everybody. So, but yeah, we'll try to. What's that, Jeff or Ollie? Sorry.
The thing about the 7 Days to Die is that's a paid server, so that's why it goes to the Patreons, because we actually have to pay to keep that server active 24/7. If you join the Discord, if you haven't already, make sure you go join the Residents of Evil Discord. We have a room within the mansion of the ROE Discord that says Arcade, where you can share your gamer tags and gaming information, and you can game with other ROE fans, the ROE community, as well as us, because it's all shared, so we can see it as well. And that's a good place to go to organize these game fests. If you want to play with other players within the ROE community or us, make sure you get there and you put your information and line up some times and get at it.
That's a good point. Yeah, that Discord is super helpful for stuff like that. So there's a link in the description. It's free. It's a chat for gamers, and we got like a whole actual Residents of Evil laid out with different rooms and stuff. So it's really cool. And then I guess our last question we'll get into is from Jeff Marco. He says, you guys brought something unique to the table, something not a lot of YouTubers and streamers do. Well, thank you very much for that, man. He says, what's the next big steps for ROE in 2018? And then I guess that leads us right into all the stuff we kind of have planned. So I guess right away, Jeff, if you want to explain Fear Effect February.
This is something we had talked about in the past. It's a project we worked on towards September, October timeframe last year. Fear Effect is right along the lines of Silent Hill, Metal Gear, and Resident Evil in that time frame. They all came about the same time, and they were a revolution in gaming. They gave you story, they gave you all these cool elements that kind of shaped the industry for further games in survival horror and things of that nature. So in 2003, they were making FearEffectInferno, which would have been the third game released under the Fear Effect title, and it got canceled. And then it just disappeared. Fear Effect fell off the map for like 15, 16 years ago. So 2003, it just died off. And it was disappointing because everybody was already looking forward to it. It had a good fan base, and it was an awesome series. A couple years ago on Kickstarter, this little company called Sushi appeared and said, hey, we're making a new Fear Effect game. And it is a legit Fear Effect game that falls in line with the story. This is a continuation of the series with all the characters that have survived. And it's called Sedna. So last summer, I'd say, AJ and I started to put this together. We reached out to Sedna, and we hooked up with all the voice actors. Amazing people. They're all new voice actors playing the cast, returning cast members such as Hannah, Rain. Everybody's back, and we've interviewed each one of them. In November, if you guys have been keeping up with the content, you see that we dropped the interview with Natalie Rowers, who plays Hannah. We have everybody else in line still, but we've been waiting on a date from Sedna to release the rest of the content. Sedna is finally finished. As far as Sushi has said, it's completed. They don't have a release date, but we're going to push the content. We're making Fear Effect February. Each week is going to be a new interview with a new actor. We're going to be putting out lore and content videos about the games, live plays on Twitch. the live plays on Twitch will have cast members, the new cast members. Natalie Rowers is joining us, as well as some of the other cast members will be joining us for the live streams to play the game with me and talk about what's going on and kind of meet the fans and everything. This is all going to lead up until the actual release of Sedna. When Sedna comes out, we're going to play it on channel, and then we're going to do a live panel. All the actors and the developer, Sedna, will be live for this panel as if you were going to a convention to meet them. It's going to be awesome.
So there's a lot to look forward to there. That's really cool. You guys got to organize all that and set that up. I think that's going to be really cool for Fear Effect fans and people who aren't Fear Effect fans. It's good content. It's interesting. I'm not a big fan of Fear Effect myself, and I really enjoyed that podcast with Natalie. So, lots to look forward to there. What else do we got? We got Extra Life coming up, so we'll explain more about that. It's going to be towards the end of the year. We did the Toys for Tots event last December. That was extremely successful. Between all of us and the help of the company I work for, Boss Snowplow, we were able to raise over $3,000 for Toys for Tots. So we're going to be doing Extra Life this year and possibly Toys for Tots again this December. Most likely we will be doing that. So
and
lots of cool.
Extra Life is going to be kind of a yearly event. We're going to have the big push at the end of the year where they do the 24 hours of gaming for your team. But AJ already kicked it off last weekend. He was playing some gameplay on his Twitch channel, and I think he got a donation that went towards it. So as we stream, there will be days where we announce, okay, this is an Extra Life night or gameplay. This is an Extra Life stream where everything that's raised during that stream will go to Extra Life. And this is all going to build to the very big one at the end of the year. That's going to be the ROE Team plus community members. It's going to be a huge event, but there will be more for that to come down the line.
Yeah, so that's cool. So look forward to that. We're going to be playing more games this year, so after Outbreak, we're going to be doing Left 4 Dead's Resident Evil mods. That's going to be really cool. We talked about Operation Raccoon City, and there's quite a bit of other ones. So we're gonna try to bring more Residents of Evil team streams, so you guys will see more of us all together playing games, because it seemed to go over really well. You guys really enjoyed the team stream of Resident Evil Outbreak, so we'll do more of that. And then we got another really big project coming up. It's in the works right now. It's really in early talks. There's nothing for sure set in stone, but it's something that I'm extremely excited for. I was in a web series titled Northbound, and it was actually Northbound Season 2, and through that I met some really cool people, some really interesting people that have a lot to do with film and recording, setting stuff up and planning out scripts and all that. And one of my friends, who is the director of filming for Northbound, has discussed interest in working together with me to make a short video. And I do a lot of video effects, so I said I would do the video effects, he would do the or he would do the filming and everything, and we'd write a script and choreography and all that. And we discussed doing a Resident Evil short. So right now it's all early in development. We're thinking Hunk would be sent in to retrieve a sample. Somebody would not like that. There would be an argument, a fight, and we'd choreograph all that out. That's really all we got so far, but we got all the outfits and stuff. We just got to get the fine details together and hopefully record that sometime later this year. So we'll keep you updated on that, but that should be really fun and really cool. Other than that, Jeff, do you want to address the podcasts with Paul Haddad and Paul Mercier? Because a lot of people ask us, where are these podcasts? What's going on? Do you want to let them know what's going on with that?
And I see that. I read the comments when we put our videos and I put our interviews, and I see the comments and I try and reply to them. So here's the deal on that. Paul Haddad has a lot going on in his life that keeps him occupied. So we haven't really had to lock down like a time. I'm still working with him. Like I said, I talk to him regularly. I just talked to him a few days ago about the 20th anniversary. So we're there. It's coming sometime. I can't give you a date and time. I don't know when. It's on his time, his availability, when he's ready for it. When it comes to actors and doing the interviews, I don't push them. It's all on them. I can't force anything upon them, and I can't make them give up time for this. It's completely on them, and we have to be grateful for what we get, because they're professionals out there doing their job, and the fact that they're even doing this is something special, and it shows how much they care about the fan base. Same thing goes for Paul Mercier. We had planned to do something when he got back from the holidays. We still haven't had a chance to lock that down. I don't have a date yet. It's still in the cards. It's hopefully coming sometime within the next few weeks. I don't know. I can't give you a definite time frame, but know that when it happens, it's going to be amazing. That's all I can say.
I'm really looking forward to it.
it's on the list. Like I say that a lot, but I think it's on the list. It's because it's legitimately on the list. I think about it all the damn time. So
Yeah.
it will happen. And there's more guests out there too that we haven't announced. And it kind of comes back to, we promote these people beforehand when we get the okay from them, so that we can get your questions in and we can involve you in the interviews. But it also puts us in a position where we promoted it and then we can't get it out. So it's like,
Yeah.
I want to apologize on that, but it's because we want to include you on these interviews, and they will happen. I hope that they still happen if nobody's backed out, but I just can't give you a time frame.
Yeah, and we still have a lot of really cool podcasts coming out, like the Fear Effect ones. We've Joe Baker, Zoe Baker, tons of cool ones coming out. Sometimes it doesn't work out the way we want, but a lot of great content coming out this year. A lot more we're working on. So look forward to all that. And now I guess it's time for the giveaway. Unless there was anything else you guys wanted to go over, was that pretty much all that we had to talk about for 2018?
Well, I mean, I guess I could just say this a little bit too, like, because I know, like, I see like a lot of people. You got to understand one thing about this channel. We do put 100% into this channel, and we're not using the money from like the Patreon to go like get hookers and blow. At least not anymore. No, just kidding.
Speak for yourself. No, I'm just.
But what I want to say is, like, the thing of it is, like, the kind of like one of the I can't remember what it was called, but it's like a dream of ours and everything, like pilot dreams. I can't remember the exact word for it, but one of the things we'd loved all to do is to like have like a studio to do all this in, someday. Like, it'd be really cool because, like, you see all these guys on like YouTube, like the guys from Normal Boots, Pro Jared, the Completionist, Team 4-Star. These guys all, the Game Grumps, they all get like these studios to do all these amazing things. And so if things don't come out when they should, but they do eventually, just remember that, because like we're all in different parts of the United States and all have like full-time jobs and stuff. So some people get mad about it. I'm not trying to like discourage anybody or anything like that. I'm just letting you guys know that, like, we still care. Like, we're still doing everything possible, despite what goes on in our lives, even if it's bad. We're still bringing you the best stuff we can. It's easier if we could all work together one day, which, that could happen. You never know.
Yeah.
But generally, I don't really have to really say this, because you guys have always been really accepting of what we do here on the channel and very patient. And you're always like very original with your questions. You all have a good thing. So I just want to let people know that, like, if things don't come out, we're trying to get better at that. And it has, like I said, a lot of us got a lot going on in our lives this upcoming year, but we're still putting 100% into this channel. We're not forgetting it, that's for sure.
Definitely not. So I think about it 24/7. So that was a good point on that. So yes,
well, you think about 24/7. That's why your wife is leaving you. Oops.
Yep, that's why my life's in ruins. He's kidding. That's not actually a thing.
No, it's not happening, guys. Please don't like start like a fund for JJ or anything like that. Don't do that. Like, he's fine. Don't worry.
No,
his fiance is very understanding about what he does.
Yeah,
he pays for it later though. He pays for it later.
But yes, thank you guys so much for an awesome year. I couldn't ask for anything better. So thank you guys all for your support and tuning in. And now let's get into our giveaway. So as I mentioned earlier, we just had a recent art print done of the ROE Team as the ROEvengers. During one of our Outbreak streams, somebody said, you guys are like the ROEvengers, and it kind of stuck. So we had art done by FearEffectInferno, who I have a link to his page, his art page down below. It's incredible. He did an amazing job, and we're going to be giving away a print. So we're going to ask you guys a question now, and the first person to answer they win. And then I'll contact you to get your address and everything like that so I can send it to you. But all right, are you guys ready? Is everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. Okay, the question for the ROEvengers art print is, from our Outbreak live streams, what did we reveal as Hunk's true identity? So this is for you guys that pay attention, watch our stuff, and like our content. What was Hunk's
Pick me!
Tony, you can't win this. Tony, this is not for you.
But I want the print!
Calm down, Yoko. Calm down.
My life is shit!
My life is shit. Oh, Alex.
Wait.
Oh, sorry. No. Wait. Go back up. Ernesto was first.
What'd he say?
Steve Martin.
Ah!
Who got it for you? I got Kendo Gunshot.
Right,
Oh, no. Steve Martin. No, Ernesto
Ernest.
got it. Oh, shit. Sorry, Kendo. Ernesto got it right before you. He got it right before you. So Ernesto...
Shit, you guys are quick!
Yeah, you guys are really quick. Ernesto
That
is
might have
the
been too
winner.
easy a question.
We revealed that Hunk is, in fact, Steve Martin this whole time. Could you believe? I couldn't believe. So congratulations, man. And again, thank you guys all so much. Thank you to all of our patrons. You guys have been incredibly supportive and have helped more than you could know. Thank you to everybody who donated in the Super Chats tonight. You guys, your donations are incredible. It really means a lot. Santiago with that $100 Super Chat. That is insane, dude. So thank you all so much. And to everybody that just watched, enjoyed our content, drops a like you guys, that means so much. So thank you all so much. Does anybody have any closing words tonight?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody. We've hit it on a few times, but really, this is absolutely amazing what's happened this last year. How we came together was completely random. I went from a guy who just loved Resident Evil and played on his channel sometimes to part of an absolutely amazing community and a wonderful team, and it only is just a bright future from here. We hope to do more to impress you guys and that you like, and to give you more, and to bring everybody together and create a nice, fun, accepting, respectful community for Resident Evil fans.
Well said. Any closing words from you, Tony?
Well, I guess I should say this, I guess.
In a world ravaged by DLC and bad company ideas, four friends unite to stop bring hope back to the residents of evil. They are the ROEvengers. No, thanks, guys. No,
Holy shit.
Badass.
Holy
Holy
shit!
shit!
Dropped another $100.
Oh my god, dude, are you kidding?
Jesus
Tony.
Christ!
Nothing doesn't during you when you talk, Tony.
Okay, I'll keep going. No, I can't do it. I'm nervous. $100.
Stay evil, guys.
Santiago, so much.
Holy
Thank you so
fuck, man. You made it rain in the residents of evil once again. Jesus Christ. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. That'll be it for tonight.
Thank you guys for everything. I greatly appreciate this chance to do something meaningful for a lot of people. You all know I run a YouTube review site for video games and video game rants and stuff like that. I know people have been watching that lately for the stuff I do. From everybody here, I just can't thank you all enough for the love and support you give us. Like, you guys are legit general people with brains, and you're not demanding stuff that we can't do. You guys are great to us, and I just hope that we're giving back what we can for you guys. So if you have any ideas and future stuff that you might want to see, lay it on us. We'd like to know.
Definitely.
Yes, we're open to suggestions.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Always improve and add more. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope to see you back in the residents of evil. All right, good night, everybody.
Take care.
Good night.